Could you excuse me for a bit? It's that time of year again. Simpsons Treehouse of Horror time in my house, and I was for a while planning on following up last year's list of my favourite segments with one of my least favourites this year, but a lot of them were from season 20 onward, and I realised...
oh crap.
My opinions on the HD seasons at large are coloured by boredom and apathy, because it was difficult for me to care about them after taking everything in, so I have no clue how to approach them critically right now.
Oh crap.
If I can't articulate my thoughts, or don't have thoughts at all in some cases, there's a good chance my reviews won't be any good.
Oh crap.
I promised something Treehouse of Horror related this year, and something negative about it, so I have to deliver and somehow talk about segments I know, firsthand, I don't like.
It's too hot today.
Well, there's only one option left. It's minimal, concise, and effective. Welcome to the Showdown, Halloween edition. Taking a cue from the Simpsons Index, I'll take one Treehouse of Horror segment from each era of the series, based around a particular theme in this case, and put them all together. I'm in the mood for cannibalism, so I'll choose Nightmare Cafeteria from season 6, Married to the Blob from season 18, and Homer from season 29, all about the threat of being eaten in some way. This is one of the few themes to recur in the miniseries in every decade, so why not start with the creepiest? The first combatant is Nightmare Cafeteria. Of all three segments from Treehouse of Horror V, this was the one I ranked the lowest on my list last year at number 13, but that isn't a bad ranking compared to the rest of the 90 plus segments from the whole franchise. The story is as follows. Springfield Elementary School is getting crowded, the detention room is filled up with kids, and the cafeteria is now being used as a substitute, itself overflowing. All it takes is one prank on Lunch Lady Doris from Jimbo for Principal Skinner to think of an easy and tasty solution.
Are you saying you killed Jimbo, processed his carcass, and served him for lunch?
Before long, all the teachers get hooked on the taste of children, and Bart and Lisa quickly piece together that their classmates are disappearing one by one, never to be seen again, in one piece. Simpsons showrunner at the time, David Merkin, wanted this segment to be the goriest ever, and it shows. The fear comes from a real place, being a helpless kid at school, not knowing what the faculty has planned for you, and blows up into this cannibalistic underworld. Matt Groening was right, school really is hell. Compared to the other segments in Treehouse of Horror V, it doesn't really go for humour, just blood and thrills. There are some great lines scattered throughout.
I believe I'll start as you've so often suggested by eating your shorts.
But what works about this one is the suspense, the electric realization that these kids are not going to make it. But the ending kind of nullifies all this. It was all just a dream. Just kidding, let's get even freakier. If you want a complete story, there are plenty of other segments more worthy of your time. However, if you want a creepy idea with creepy jokes and visuals, this is your one-stop pit stop. I'm just wondering how different things would have played out if Marge had actually intervened. Although Willie tries his best to save the day and prevent disaster. Oh! I said he tried, not that he succeeded. So yeah, no contest. Nightmare Cafeteria wins overall. But who gets the coveted second place ribbon, Next up on the chopping block is Married to the Blob from season 18. This one starts with a meteorite landing in the Simpsons' backyard, and a little sentient ball of Nickelodeon gack emerging from it. Homer eats it. He eats stuff. That's the only thing you have to know about Homer Simpson for anything in this story to work. Now, this bit of Homer trying to eat the alien, then keep it down, is a decent bit of physical comedy. It's gross for sure, but it's Halloween, who's it gonna harm? But the alien has some side effects on Homer's body, forcing him to eat more and more and grow bigger and bigger until he turns into a carnivorous blob. I told you, Homer eats. You get jokes about fat people, more jokes about fat people, more jokes about fat people after that, then a Baby Got Back parody.
I like big...
I'm gonna say it, this is dumb. The idea of Homer becoming this kind of monster is inherently interesting, and I'm sure if you're deadly afraid of being eaten alive, this might spook you, but the jokes are lame and leave no impact.
Must eat, then poop, then eat some more, then eat while pooping.
And the way the story ends is absolutely random. Homer turns green, Marge stages an intervention between him and Dr. Phil, he eats Dr. Phil, and then Mayor Quimby decides to use Homer to replace the homeless shelter and eat the homeless. And he's yellow again. I feel like this ending could have had some satire about marital issues or how society treats homeless people, but the only point I see being made is that Homer's fat and eats a lot. This is season 18. A basic character trait should not be a joke anymore. I don't want to seem like some raving zombie Simpsons hater, but this is one of my least favorite Treehouse of Horrors ever. It's 6 minutes of fat jokes, then 2 randomized conclusions. There isn't much else. One benefit to the 2010s era of The Simpsons is that it's usually more attention-grabbing, even if it ends up looking more needy in the process. Enter Homer from season 29, one of the most controversial segments in a while. It's such a display of shock value that they had to put a disclaimer for the first time since Treehouse of Horror V.
What you're about to see is so disgusting, you'll watch Game of Thrones to calm down. You have been warned.
That aged perfectly. Marge and the kids are going away for a while, so Homer has the house and the kitchen all to himself. But he gets through nearly all the food in a few days,
Not a single morsel in the house!
leaving him with only one frozen sausage. After cooking it, the knife slips and he cuts his finger off instead. And I have to say, congrats! You really made me want to rewatch Trilogy of Error instead. With the sausage taken by Santa's little helper, Homer's left with the finger to eat, and ends up loving the taste of himself, and quickly turns into an auto-cannibal. You have to wonder where all the mass is going, but I don't want to do any research on auto-cannibalism to make sure this is accurate. They did something odd, however. They made something this horrific boring. While it does start off delightfully creepy, it descends into played-out Simpsons tropes, like joking about Homer's weight, or lack thereof in this case, his marriage with Marge hitting the rocks.
This is, without question, the worst moment of our entire marriage.
You say that so much it's lost all meaning.
And a surprise guest star to fix the problem, with Mario Batali cooking Homer into oblivion and profiting off it. I guess the long-awaited Simpsons Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives crossover will have to wait. I don't know what to say. Is this bad? Is this good? I have a hard time making that call this late into the show. What I can say is this. They put all their eggs in one basket for this one, and made as many visual gags as they could. Speaking of visuals, Jesus is insanely off-model. Like, wow. By your 29th season, no matter how good you are, you've long lost my interest, and this segment, and so many other Simpsons episodes by this point, are just white noise to me. It doesn't help that those overused Simpsons tropes just seem to have been added for some last-minute familiarity, because they know they went too far with some of these jokes. I didn't like this one, but don't fully trust me on the new episodes. There might be something here I can't see. So, as I said before, Nightmare Cafeteria wins first prize, but the runner-up is... Homer. I didn't feel much with it, but at least I can see why it can be creepy to several viewers, and don't take as much issue with it, compared to Married to the Blob, which just seemed careless and reckless. Still, if you want your Simpsons Halloween fix, stick with the classics. Not all the later ones are this shallow, but they're gonna scare you for the wrong reasons. Goodbye for now. Maybe I should have just watched 200 Miles to Oregon.